This is a story about a bunch of small, unnoticed animals in Taiwan. They spend most of their lifetime shuttling around in the forest floors, secluded surfaces, gloomy corners, and dark tunnels, because this is the only way that secures their lives, the only way to ensure that their lives can continue. This bunch of small animals includes the old familiar rodents and their look-alike, the insectivores. They can be told apart from the differences of their skulls and teeth. The rodents are the most successfully adapted mammal on Earth. Their signature characteristic is the pair of forever growing, sharp as a drill, front teeth. The most commonly seen rodents in Taiwan include the arboreal flying squirrels, common squirrels, and the rats. Rats alone are found to have over 10 species in Taiwan, which come in different sizes. The high diversity in species also means high diversity in their dwelling environments, and segregation by altitude is the most unique feature of their habitats. Running across the street like a rat and getting beaten up has been people's stereotype impression of rats. It usually refers to the house rats, sewer rats, and house mice that often appear around our houses. But in fact, there are many different types of rats unfamiliar to us that are living in the wilderness. As agriculture is a fundamental industry of Taiwan, the enormous canvas of farmland forms a very different type of ecosystem. And the rotating crops provide high diversity food sources in all seasons. The farmland consequently becomes the paradise of wild rats. Sugarcane fields are a common sight in southern Taiwan and the favorite habitat of the largest rats. Greater bandicoot rats are large in size, with gray-black, spike-like hair, a large tail, and a pair of protruding front teeth. When threatened, they blow air heavily out of the nostrils and make a low-pitched groan to exhibit the power of being the king of rats. The greater bandicoot rats dig holes, and their holes are easily identified because they pile the dirt around their holes. In the abandoned land where grass and weeds spread out, rat holes are everywhere. It is the new paradise of wild rodents. The lesser rice field rats and field mice are often found sharing common grounds. They eat the crops as well as the seeds of the widespread grass and Asteraceae family plants, and insect larvae are the best sources of animal protein supplements. The field mice are also known as the moon mice. They have large protruding ears and eyes. They are a species of very smart mice. The striped field mice are slightly larger and often share the same habitat with the field mice. They get their name from the black stripe on their back. The striped field mice sometimes live on the grasslands, but the shrubs and mixed forests are their main habitats. Plant seeds and juicy invertebrates are their main food sources. Mice that share a common ground often ingeniously segregate themselves by the differences in habitat use and food choices, and live in mutually respected peace and harmony. Away from the environment of intense human activity, we come to the vast mid-high elevation hills and valleys. But the only kind of rodents we find active in these lands are the white-bellied rats. The spiny country rat got its name because there is a tough spine-like hair mixed in the clusters of the back hair. When they were first identified, they were named the guoxingye, after the name of the hero of the early settlers, Zhen Chenggong. Therefore, they are also known as the guoxing rats. Although they are mostly active on the grounds, their long tails show that they are good tree climbers. The sites of Taiwan's mountains change along with the elevation, including the composition of the forests and, of course, the animals. In the mid-high elevation forests of Taiwan, the first rodent to come on the stage is the Taiwan field mice. The tiny Taiwan field mice have tails longer than their bodies. They distribute widely in the primary broadleaf and artificial forests, or the bamboo woods on the fringes of the forests, because of their high reproduction rate and adaptability. If you are a hiking enthusiast, you probably have been disturbed by them in your cabin. They are the typical opportunists. The garbage brought into the mountains by the hikers changed the food habits of the Taiwan field mice. Easily obtainable food sources make the population of the mice grow by an amazing speed, which tips the food chain off the balance. A potential danger is emerging in the ecosystem. If we say the Taiwan field mice are the tiny rodents in the mountains of Taiwan, the Formosan white-bellied rats would be the big brothers. You would not doubt it if you have seen them. The white bellies are the most characteristic parts of the Formosan white-bellied rats. Their tails, with white ends, are perfect for keeping balance. As high-elevation dwellers, the Formosan white-bellied rats have soft and thick hair, which is a perfect evidence of evolution for adaptation to the cold weather in Taiwan's mountains. Not all rats are dirty and disgusting. The Paradavit's voles are the small and adorable babies of the world of rodents. The Paradavit's voles have long, soft black hair that shines in a metallic glow, and that is why they are also known as black-bellied voles. Short feet and tails stick out from their rounded but streamlined bodies, and small eyes and small ears tell us that they live in underground tunnels. The thick, long hair keeps them warm in the cold winter of the mid-high elevation mountains. The Paradavit's voles do not have the dull black color all the time. The fur changes in between seasons, and the shades vary. Plus, there are already some color variations in the hair of Paradavit's voles, so not all Paradavit's voles are necessarily pitch black. The Paradavit's voles are omnivorous. They eat roots, stems, and leaves, as well as insects in occasions to supplement animal protein. In contrast to the high reproductive rate of rodents, the Paradavit's voles are one of the deviants. One Paradavit's vole only gives birth to 2 pups. The mother voles take very good care of their pups. Apparently, motherly love can also be found in the animal kingdom. Most voles live in the temperate areas. However, there is a species living in the farthest southern spread of the voles, Taiwan voles, an endemic species that lives in Taiwan's mountains of 2,000 meters above sea level. Taiwan voles have short and round ears tucked inside of the thick and soft hair. They can be found in the cold grassland ecosystem of Hehuan Mountain, where the dominant vegetation is the Jade Mountain bamboos. Here, they play an important role in stabilizing the ecosystem. They feed on the shoots and sprouts of the bamboos, as well as the roots, stems, and new leaves of other plants. Their stable and dominant population provides the main food source for predators like the Formosan weasel. Rare in the vole species, the Taiwan voles are monogamous. And the male vole helps the female vole to nurture their babies. They are the model fathers in the world of rodents. From the grasslands at sea level to the mountains of 3,000 meters above, there live the harvest mice. They are the tiniest rodents in Taiwan. They have tails that can curl around the straws or grass stems to move their bodies or to get close to food. Therefore, they often build their nests on high stem plants. This grass ball is the home of a harvest mouse, which takes the most abundant materials, the leaves, and threads them and weaves them into a nest. Harvest mice are widespread across the Eurasian continent. Taiwan is at the southeastern tip of its distribution. However, its population in Taiwan is not high. Where then have these tiny guys gone? We have no way to know, but we can surely believe that they will most certainly use their best qualities, toughness and perseverance, to the highest potential, and work hard to adapt and reproduce for generations to come. There is another type of animal that look like rodents and are given their Chinese common names as if they were related to rodents, but are totally different from the rodents. They are members of the insectivora, the shrews and moles. With an ancient heritage, they are a more primitive group in the world of mammals. They have a narrow and pointed nose with radiating whiskers, which helps them to sense their surroundings and search for food. And the sparsely vibrissae on their tails add to their sense of touch. Therefore, they are a bunch of animals that have far better smell and touch senses than vision and hearing. They are mostly active on the ground or in underground tunnels. To adapt to this lifestyle, some of them have also evolved some specialized characteristics. The damp forest floors in mid-high elevation mountains are the habitats of the mole shrews. The mole shrews have fine and soft hair, short limbs, small eyes, vestigial pinnae, and short tails no longer than 2 centimeters. These characteristics are mostly evolved for adaptation to the semi-fossorial lifestyle. The mole shrew is also known as the Yamashina shrew in memory of their discoverer, Mr. Yamashina, who found them in Elan's Taiping Mountain. Most shrews are small in size and must eat non-stop to maintain the energy level needed for their metabolism. The abundant arthropods and insects are the main food source of the mole shrew. The lively Lanyu is the place where the first specimen of Taiwanese white-toothed shrew was found. The Taiwanese white-toothed shrews are the active insect hunters in the low-mid elevation forests. The ground beetles and crickets are their favorites. And sometimes spiders also show up as an a la carte item. The Taiwanese white-toothed shrew mostly plays a role of secondary consumer in the ecosystem. They eat mollusks, annelids, and arthropods, yet they are the prey of carnivorous mammals, raptors, and snakes. Changes in the habitats also force the animals to change their eating habits. In the homes of humankind, in the markets, and in the neighborhood of warehouses, we often see the Asian musk shrews, what are usually known as the money rats. The Asian musk shrews have musk glands by the sides of their bodies, so they have a type of thick odor. Some people call them the fragrance rats. They also have obvious vibrissae on the tails. The Asian musk shrews make a squeak resembling the clinching of coins, so some people see it as a good omen and call them the money rats. The money rats love to share the food of humankind. They no longer prey only on insects. The Asian musk shrews were identified by a foreign scholar, Swinho, in 1859. It was the first named insectivore in Taiwan. Farmlands, grasslands, or broadleaf forests and bamboo forests under 1,500 meters of elevation are the habitats of the gray shrews. The gray shrews are like the miniature version of the musk shrews. Although they are quite dense in population, they most frequently come out at night, so it is not easy to detect their presence. Larvae of insects on the surface of the ground and small invertebrates are their main food sources. Gray shrews reproduce all year round, and each pregnancy gives birth to 2 to 4 babies. When the mother gray shrew goes out hunting for food, the baby shrews follow by biting on their mother's teats. Other than houses and buildings, there are often some farmlands, grasslands, and wetlands in lowland Taiwan. These are the main habitats for Asian lesser white-toothed shrew. With their tiny bodies, they try hard to live in the gaps of developed areas. These underground dwellers, known as digging rats, are insular moles. They have small eyes, which basically are not functioning, and their pinnae have also disappeared. Together with their rounded bodies, they are made perfectly to live underground. Their specialized strong front feet, evolved into palms with long claws, are powerful tools for underground tunnel digging and earthworm searching. Look at the way they dig. Don't they look like they're swimming in the dirt? Wherever they tread, they must leave traces. A crisscrossing, complicated system of underground tunnels is the best evidence of the insular moles. The highly abundant small terrestrial mammals are highly diversified, and some of the special species are endemic to Taiwan. New species are being discovered. They are a part that enriches the diverse ecosystem of Taiwan. Maybe some of you are still a bit unfamiliar with the modest little animals, and some of you even have negative feelings against the house-haunting creatures. But they are a very important food supplier in the ecosystem. Many raptors, snakes, and carnivorous mammals feed off the small mammals. And the population of the small animals directly affects the survival of the predators. Their existence is closely linked to other creatures of nature. One couldn't exist without the other. This is a world of high diversity. Abundant and diverse species are the means of survival of nature and the best protection for the continuance of human life.